Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Zaya, and we are in the final home stretch of 2018, so I figured today I would sit down and share some of my favorite things to come out of this year. I feel like this video is going to be incredibly long, so I'm just going to jump into it without like much of an intro at all, because I think it's kind of self-explanatory what I'm going to be doing. I'm sure right now these videos are like a dime a dozen. Now these are in no particular order except for this first item. This first item is my #1 favorite thing to come out of this year, and then all the other ones are tied for #2, and that is
AirPods.
I tried to hate these. I really did, and I know that these did not come out in 2018. They came out like, I think in late 2016, but I tried for so long to not get them because they're just kind of expensive and I just never really saw the point of them. But ever since Apple took away that headphone jack, I've always had the issue of being able to listen to music and being able to charge my phone at the same time. So with my high school graduation in May, I got a card with $200 in it, and I went out and bought myself a nice little pair of AirPods. They're so convenient. I literally use these every single day. I will say this though, they are way overpriced. I would never like take money that I could use for something better and buy these. These are definitely like a splurge item. They don't even sound any better than just the wired headphones that come with your iPhone. However, they are just so much more convenient. Pro tip, if you want to find AirPods, because I got mine in May and they were completely sold out at Best Buy, Target, and Walmart. I actually ended up going to a Verizon store and I walked in there and was like,
hey, do you guys have AirPods?
And they were like,
heck yeah, we do.
Not everybody thinks to go there for AirPods, but they do carry them. All right, moving on. Something else that really did make my year is, you guessed it, my iPhone XS Max. I have talked about this so much on my channel, so I'm gonna keep this one really short. We all know how I feel about this. I made like 18 videos about this phone. I love this phone, but I think for me the reason it was so good is because I did upgrade from an iPhone 7 to this, so a lot of these features were new for me. Also, I love the color. The camera and I got off to a rough start, but it's all fine. While this phone is expensive, I do think it's gonna be able to last me for a really long time. The only thing about it though, because I can always find something bad in everything, they don't really make cases that I would actually want to put on this phone, so it's been about, I don't know, 4 months and I still don't have one. So a third thing just going along with my iPhone, no particular order, is the Mophie wireless charging pad. Now there is a cable that comes out of this, but obviously I unplugged it. I thought that wireless charging was something that I wasn't going to use at all when I bought this phone. Like, I did not buy this phone for the wireless charging, but it is so convenient. Obviously it's not as fast as just wired charging, but I don't really use my phone that often. I can usually stretch my battery life to last throughout the entire day. Also, it has a detachable cable, so if you really don't want it on your desk that often, you could just take it out and put it in the drawer and like hide the cable or something that goes with it. Probably will use this until the Air Power Mat comes out, and then I'll probably switch to that, but until then, this is a champ. Now, moving away from technology, we're gonna go into my other love, Doc Martens. I wanted to just pick one pair because I didn't want to just make this an entire list of my entire collection, but it was a two-way tie, so I'm picking two pairs. So the first one is the Joseph Turner Tate collaboration with Doc Martens. Technically these were from 2017, however I bought these in summer of 2018 when they went on sale on Doc Martens, and these are probably my favorite shoe in my closet. When I wear these, I get so many compliments on them. You know, obviously they have like the little crackling details on them because it's like the brushed suede, they have that worn in look, and they just look so freaking good. And you would think you have a hard time styling these, but actually I find that I'm able to wear these with a lot of things in my closet, but look at that. I think that this is sold out, but I think you could still buy like certain sizes and stuff on like Amazon, or I will leave a link for the Amazon listing down below. But these next pair of Doc Martens, I kind of trash talk when I got them and I feel really bad. So I did an unboxing video where I just unboxed Doc Martens that I bought. These ones, I said they look a little Western and I don't really know how I'm gonna wear these. These are the 1460s Orleans in butterscotch. And I take it back, I actually wear these all the time. Sticking with shoes, I have one more pair and I hate that I'm putting these in so much. Like, I really tried to not like these, but the Yeezy triple white, whatever they're called, V2s, I don't know. I do know that Kanye West is a bit of a controversial figure, and I debated putting these in there because there's that whole discussion on if you could separate an artist from their work or not. Regardless, they're just really comfortable. I find myself wearing them all the time when I don't feel like putting on like a pair of Doc Martens. They've also proven to be very easy to clean. Even though that they are all white, I just throw these in the washer if I really need to clean them and then just air dry them, and they're like good as new. And like, I wear these all the time and they still look really good. Would recommend these, but I do think that they are a little little bit overpriced. I do like the kind of slip-on nature of these, and I don't know. This next one is a Sucky love story by Brittany Louise Taylor. I don't really ever find myself reading YouTuber books or even being interested remotely in YouTuber books. Brittany Louise Taylor was one of the first YouTubers I think that I ever started watching. It was like her, Shane Dawson, and I Justine. She entered into like a public relationship with this guy and she vlogged all of it. Things fell apart and then she ended up writing this book and talked all about the kind of nature of the relationship and how it wasn't as like glamorous as it seemed online. And I think that the interesting thing about this book is A, it was a really good read. I finished it in about a day and a half, so like, but also it's really cool how like the vlogs are still up, so like you can watch them after you read this or while you're reading this for like context of like what's going on. And I think it does kind of serve as a catalyst to a discussion in which anything that anybody puts on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, that's what they want you to see. And so they are putting out an obviously better picture than things often really are. A, just be nice to really anybody, because regardless of what they're saying or sharing, they could still have things going on in the background. And then also don't get down on yourself if somebody's life is like magnificent on social media, because chances are they're not sharing the really bad parts of everything that's going on. This is just a very extreme example of that. Also, I think she did a really good job of, you know, not only just making this as a like book to her subscribers, but also making this a book where somebody who's just walking in like Barnes and Noble can pick this up and read it and still be able to connect with the story and everything like that. Next is an album, and this is, oh, there it is, Highest Hope by Florence and the Machine. Fun fact about me, I am the biggest Florence and the Machine fan. They are literally my favorite band ever, and I love music that can just really take you somewhere, and I feel like their music does a wonderful job at that. This completely took me by surprise. I did not think that they would even release an album this year. This came out in the summer, and in the summer, I never really talked about this, but after graduating high school, I did kind of find myself falling into a bit of like depression almost, because it was like, oh, everything that I'd known for so long ended. So I feel like this really did help me kind of navigate through that bit of funk and kind of emerge out on the other side just fine. And 10 out of 10 would recommend. Speaking of albums, this is one that I do not have, and that is the 1975's A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. I had the first initial listen to, I was like, okay, they released all the good songs as singles. The more that I listened to it, the more that it was able to take me someplace. I just said that. It's a lot slower and it's definitely a new sound. I really like it. I don't know, it's only been out for like a month and I've listened to it so much, so 10 out of 10 would recommend. Also, the merch surrounding that album is like really good. Like, this is Florence Welch's book Useless Magic, Lyrics and Poetry, and this is basically a book with like some of Florence Welch's writings. Whenever I flip through this book, I find myself being able to flip through it for literally just hours and just pick out new things that I never noticed before. And it has all the lyrics to all of like their songs on it, which I think is super cool, but I also think that it does kind of extend beyond just Florence and the Machine fans, because a lot of the songs can be read as poems as well. And then they have like nice little illustrations and like notes and kind of behind the scenes for like the writings of the album. And yeah, I definitely love it. Also, there was a limited edition one of these that was designed by Gucci, and it had like the floral print and like gold embroidery on it. And that one, I wanted it so bad, but I just slipped my mind and it ended up selling out. Really do recommend it. It's not like one that you obviously like read like from front to back, but it's kind of just one that you can like flip through any part of the book and just find new and meaningful things. The next thing that I'm going to be talking about, which is quite ironic because I'm breaking out like really bad, is a skin product. And this is it's a face and body scrub essentially. So it's an exfoliant, and this stuff, I kid you not, this big bottle was like, I think $11. This actually came from a product recommendation from a friend, and they were like, you need to get this stuff. And so I went to my local health food store, and yeah, it was like $11. It works so well. It's an exfoliant, and also I feel better using it because the exfoliant is just walnut shells, and so it's not going to leave like microplastics and stuff in the ocean. And this also continues to fight acne after even washing your face with it, so that's really good. So even at the end of the day, I will notice my skin looks better than the beginning of the day, which is so weird. It's able to do that, and it's cheap, and it's actually worked. I will say one thing, because it does continue to like fight acne throughout the day, it does dry out your skin quite a bit, and for that I use the Trader Joe's oil-free moisturizer. I really didn't want to include clothing, but I think that I just need to include this because it's so, I love this. I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm just always cold. And so this nice little jacket, you get the picture, I'll put a picture here. It's from H&M, which when you think of like warm jackets, you probably don't think of H&M, but oh my god, this jacket keeps me so warm. I find myself wearing this way too much. It wasn't that expensive. I think I got it for like 30 bucks on Black Friday, but normally it's like 50 or 60, but definitely a good quality jacket that I would highly recommend. The next thing that I'm going to do is a backpack. I'm a student, so I live out of this, and this is the Michael Kors Bryant backpack, I think. Wow, that makes me look bad. I've never like liked backpacks ever, and I've always been somebody who just carries all my stuff like in my arms because I'm stubborn and just don't like the way that backpacks look on me. I don't know. But this is the first backpack that I've ever gotten that I truly feel like just doesn't look god awful. It's very simple, it's leather, it's sturdy, it fits my 15-inch MacBook Pro in it like perfectly. It doesn't slide around, or I don't have to worry about it really getting like scratches or like falling out or anything like that. Just a good quality backpack. This, I did not spend the $448 that this normally retails for. I got it for about, I think, $120 because it was just like on sale. Because it's leather, I can just wipe it off when it gets dirty because it's always concerning to wear white where I live. The next thing that I want to talk about is my Apple Watch. This isn't something that I got in 2018, but it truly has shaped my 2018 so much. I know that Apple was not the first person to, you know, smartwatches and anything like that. Obviously, we even knew. But I think that their approach to it is also not unique, but they do it really well. With the rings and the coaching and kind of the social aspect of exercising and fitness, it truly makes it a priority for a lot of people. And I know so many people who have really been able to put health and wellness first because of the Apple Watch, because of like reminders or, you know, challenging their friends or things like that. And I think that that is so cool. And I've certainly been one of those people who have definitely been able to prioritize myself because of my Apple Watch. And I think that that's a lot of what 2018 has brought me, is just health and wellness. But yeah, definitely love the Apple Watch. And this isn't even like an Apple Watch Series 4 or Series 3 or Series 2 or Series 1. It's just the whole kind of generalized thing. I love it. And definitely if you are somebody who is looking to get more healthy for the new year, I highly recommend getting an Apple Watch. The next thing that I'm going to do right after health and wellness is something really good, and I don't have it with me, but it is the Trader Joe's Mango Sorbet. And basically all I have to say about this is it's really good. You get a lot in there, and it is such a wonderful substitute for ice cream because I can't have dairy. One thing I would be weary about, it does have quite a bit of sugar per serving, so don't try and eat the whole thing. The next thing that I'm going to include is this mirror, which I bought from overstock.com. I think that's good quality or whatever, but it's more the principle of the mirror. I don't know, I feel like a good way to build confidence is to get a huge mirror and put it somewhere where you always walk, because I feel like a lot of the times when I feel bad about myself or something, I tend to avoid mirrors and just kind of rely on this preconceived idea of what I look like. Normally that's not the case, and it's just like my brain trying to trick me. So it's really nice. I keep this big mirror by my door, and anytime I like walk out or walk in, obviously I'm forced to like look at myself. I think it's really good, and I think if you are trying to work on confidence going into the new year, I would highly recommend getting a big full-length mirror and just putting it somewhere where you always walk and just like forcing yourself to look at yourself, because I don't know, you only got one body, you might as well like it. Bad advice kind of, but not really. I don't know, it's something that really has helped me, and also it does provide me a chance like one more time to, as I'm looking through the door, make sure I don't have like anything in my hair or like on my clothes or anything like that, so that's also good. And finally, my last thing, and that is this camera that I am filming this on. This is just a Canon Rebel T6i, and I talked about this a little bit in the beginning of the video, but after high school, fall into a bit of a depression. Buying this signified like a bit of an outlet for me, and so obviously, you know, like starting this channel, and like I even like taking pictures and stuff for Instagram. It was all just a creative outlet that I finally had access to thanks to this camera. I don't know, I just feel like my 2018 was greatly shaped by it, and I could not leave it outside of this video. And there's nothing special about it. Again, it is just the Canon Rebel T6i, but it definitely, it does what it needs to do, and it has opened the doors so much for me. And also, I've always been somebody who tends to like hide from camera, and I feel like because I got this and because I would take pictures and videos of myself, now I'm more comfortable with being on camera for anybody. Like, so that's also a good thing. So if you are looking into building yourself even more confident, I would definitely recommend buying a camera and just forcing yourself to take pictures with it. Because I guess the only way that you're gonna step out of your comfort zones is by being uncomfortable. So at first, definitely like sitting down and filming or even taking pictures of myself felt so uncomfortable, and like I was like, why did I buy this camera? But now like I'm so happy. It's definitely probably one of the best purchases that I made in 2018. Also, I'll recommend the 50mm 1.8 lens. It's not that expensive inexpensive if you want to take some good portrait photos of yourself. I'll link that down below with this too. And I guess on that note, kind of tying that in with one of my also favorite things to come out of this year was to have this space where I can just kind of come and, you know, things are overwhelming or whatever, I can just come and do whatever I really want to do. It still is just a creative outlet, and it's such a cool creative outlet, and I'm so happy that I've been able to find this and find something that I really like doing like this. That's all for my list of favorites for 2018. It's so crazy because I feel like this year went by so fast. 2018 I wouldn't say was necessarily like a bad year for me. Like everybody like just seems to have went through it this year. I wouldn't say that for me. I would just say it's kind of average. Haven't really been able to do much, but I've been kind of making slow and steady steps towards long-term goals of like career advancements and things like that. But I've kind of been just in a standstill. But I do know that 2019 is going to be a pretty hectic year for me, just because I'm going to be graduating and I'm also going to be making a huge move to either the Silicon Valley area or even the greater Los Angeles area. And right now I live in like super rural where like there's like 20 people in my town, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm so excited, but I'm also so nervous, and it's so weird to think like that's all going to happen and like this time next year is like so weird to think like where I'm going to be, like where I'm going to be living, what I'm going to be doing, what my interests are going to be, and like how I'm going to be different, because like looking where I was last year at this time, I was different. That was a long-winded tangent. With that, this is probably such a long video, so if you have made it this far and you like this video, make sure to go down there and like this, and also you better subscribe if you've made it this far, because you've listened to me talk for probably over 30 minutes. So this is probably gonna be my last video of 2018, so I just want to say have a happy new year, and make sure to set some goals for yourself for the next year for self-improvement and growth. And I know that time is just an illusion, but just get in with the festivities. It does serve as an opportunity for change if there really is something that you want to strive for in the next year. In the next year, personally, I'm going to strive to just stop overthinking everything, but I would love to hear what you are wanting to do in the next year as well. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day. All right, bye.